before we explode, no, Braun Strowman isn't being buried. He's not rubbish and he's still a pivotal part of WWE and really wrestling as a whole. He's a credit to himself and a credit to the industry that he finds himself in because of his progression over the last 12 or 24 months, whatever it's been. He has gone from, who's this guy, to, who's this guy? However, if we do wind the clock back just a few months, I think there's a few things we can point out where we go, we shouldn't have done that, and it's pulled the legs out of him completely. And why the hell would we do that? It's crazy, I tell you. Crazy. So yeah, in a way, just in a little teeny tiny way, WWE is ruining Braun Strowman. Why? That last one was weird. Here's why. Now, I don't want to sound like Captain Bleeding Obvious here, but if we are going to talk about Braun Strowman and how his train has come off the tracks just a little teeny weeny bit, we do need indeed to talk about Roman Reigns. Before we get into it, yeah, I think Roman Reigns is pretty good. I can see why WWE would want him as their top guy, and I think he's got all the tools to do so. I don't hate Roman Reigns. A lot of people hate Roman Reigns, that's cool. I don't hate Roman Reigns. As we know though, that accounts for nothing if it's not getting over with the fans. I don't care what's happening with merchandise, I don't care what's happening on house shows. If I tune into Raw and SmackDown and there's some dude and he's getting booed a lot, that translates through the television. It translates, it goes in your heart. It means individuals are disinterested and it means those same individuals aren't buying into the plan. You can't have a plan if people don't buy into it. If I want to rob a bank and you're going to join me and I don't tell you which bank we're going to go or how much money I need or what we're meant to do, how are we going to be successful at being criminals? We're not, and now we're going to jail. Thanks a lot. Just brilliant. Just brilliant. So why am I ranting about Reigns? Well, it's because of the inadvertent roadblock that's been put up because of this and that has now indirectly or maybe even directly slammed into Braun Strowman's face. Put it like this. There was a very specific moment over the last year or so where the fans organically, and there's that word again, really started getting into Braun Strowman. He was beating people up, he was being a massive monster, he was flipping over vehicles. But that was the idea. The crowd just wanted to see a big dude doing big dude things. Sometimes the simple things, they're a success. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be complicated all the time. Just give people what they want. Easy. Given this rise though, what usually happens in the world of pro wrestling is then we strap a rocket to this person's back and we see them soar. And WWE kind of did that with Braun Strowman, but they couldn't go all the way, and you already know where I'm going with this. But why couldn't they go all the way? Because of Roman Reigns. In their heads, that experiment was more important, so that's where they focused their attentions. You know what? That's cool. That's fine. WWE is the most successful wrestling company in the world, so who am I to criticize what they do? And let's face it, if I was put in charge of WWE, I'd probably run it into the ground in about 7 days just for the lols. But that did equate to Braun Strowman being used in a little bit of a weird way, and he never really rose through the ranks to the top of the top. I mean, go back to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view this year. You remember what happened. Braun Strowman may have run riot and taken everybody else out, but you know who he didn't take out? Roman Reigns. And you want to know why? Because we had to build to WrestleMania 34, where apparently Reigns was going to go over to Brock Lesnar, but he didn't. We ain't talking about that. We've talked about that for 1,000 years. I ain't talking about it no more. But what I will say is, did all this work? No, it didn't. Go and watch the main event of WrestleMania 34 again. Did not work. Wind forward to where we are today too, and I think that Strowman has cooled off a little bit because he's been stuck in that, he's almost there, but he's not quite there spot. Again, WrestleMania. Now, I liked what they did. It made me laugh. But rather being a huge match or win a huge title, Braun Strowman went and tagged with a 10-year-old to win the Raw Championships, the Tag Team Championships, and then relinquished them 24 hours later because he was like, meh, I don't really care. And as I always say, can you see WWE treating Stone Cold Steve Austin like that in the late 90s? I don't think they would have done, and if they did, I bet it would have taken Steve Austin just a tiny bit longer to get to the promised land. I mean, that crazy version of Stone Cold Steve Austin in the early 2000s, he would have done it. He would have probably tagged with that 10-year-old for the whole year if he had to. We ain't talking about that. That guy's a different person. And I'm sure you're sat there and screaming to yourself, but Simon, WWE just made him Mr. Money in the Bank. They gave him the briefcase. And yeah, you're right, they did. And why we actually thought Vince McMahon and friends were going to give it to anybody else is a mystery. Of course it was going to go to Braun. Braun, they love him. I'm not saying that. That's not what this video is about. Vince McMahon and his friends, WWE, I don't know who else, they all love Braun Strowman. The problem is though, he's got nobody to cash in on, and that brings us to another hurdle. How am I, or any of us, meant to be excited about Strowman having the briefcase if Brock Lesnar doesn't even turn up to television. What's Braun going to do? What's he going to do? He's going to go to Minnesota or Canada, wherever Brock lives now, knock on his door and go, surprise! It ain't going to happen. No way. Brock Lesnar, he wouldn't take that. He wouldn't have WWE cameras on his property. He'd probably kill them all. For real. Although to be fair, that would be very entertaining and very funny. So if you do want to do that WWE, be something different for Money in the Bank, you should do it. It renders that contract absolutely pointless until the situation changes, and subconsciously, that kind of stuff starts to take its toll. It wears you down without you even realizing it, and before long, you've soured on a wrestler, and you don't even know why. But all the tidbits are there. They're just tidbits that are beneath the surface. Really, when those crowd noises started to increase, we should have just gone with it and made Braun Strowman the Universal Champion. If we had did that, imagine what WWE would look like right now. You'd have such a cool choice. You can watch Raw with the almost stereotypical big wrestler guy, or you can watch SmackDown where the hardcore worker is your WWE champ, but both of them you love, and both of them you actually want to cheer for. What a concept. A face world champion that you love. Oh, it's like maths. Strowman is so over, it'd only take a few weeks before you could set him on fire again, but I find all of this so weird. Why would you hold off on someone so long when everybody else wants it to happen? The Mania thing too really is madness. What other top stars get treated like that on the showcase of the Immortals? You tell me. I'll be waiting. Just stand right here. I'm going to wait. Look. No, I'm not going to do that. It's going to take hours. You take my point. And once more, just to put a finishing point on this video, Braun Strowman, regardless of what I'm saying right now, is going to be fine. He's going to be a major star in WWE for years to come. He's going to become the world champion. And who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if WWE had gone the other way, he would have cooled off by now anyway. You just don't know, but it's how I feel. And if that's how I feel, I want to put it out there. I want to throw it into the abyss, and I want to see what comes back. And what I'm hoping is coming back is one lovely big hug. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Braun Strowman's rise and maybe potential little fall. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com. Type it in that keyboard. Read yourself some articles, and there'll be some about Braun Strowman there. And follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Then you know when a video's gone up. My name is Simon from What Culture. This was the Y Series. And Braun, if somehow one day you actually do watch this video, I want you to know I'm actually very impressed with what you've done. I think you've come on leaps and bounds over the last couple of years, and really, you're an inspiration to anybody that wants to get into the pro wrestling business. Yeah.